Hey everyone, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel, Never Out of Books. And it is November. You know what that means. It's NonFiction November time. I adore NonFiction November. It is hosted by Olive at a Book Olive, and it's been going on, I think she said 5 years now, and I've participated in some form, I think, for all these 5 years. And I really give credit to this readathon for making me realize that nonfiction can be enjoyable, an enjoyable experience that doesn't always result in a test. Because, you know, when it comes right down to it in my life, of course I read nonfiction, but I read nonfiction, you know, to better my practice, to do things like that, and that's not always fun. But I've really come to enjoy listening to nonfiction books and not caring whether I remember every little detail and not beating myself up about it and just enjoying the experience. So I have a goal to read, I would like to read 2 nonfiction books this month, but I have 3 picked out, so we'll see if I get through all of these. There are prompts with this readathon. I really enjoy the prompts, but just with how my reading is going, I didn't really go with them. Although for like fun and ha-has, I did say that this first book was for a prompt, so you'll see what I mean. The first book has a whole story behind it on how I finally got this audiobook. It is by one of my favorite nonfiction authors, Mary Roach, and I adore listening to her audiobooks because the narrator, who's not listed right here, is absolutely phenomenal. And I just laugh and laugh and laugh when I read these books. So the last one I have to listen to that I know of is this one, Bonk, The Curious Coupling of Science and Sex. And I figured sex is a sport, right? So this one goes for the sport prompt. And I actually started on the first because it's the second as I'm filming this, and I am enjoying it so far. I also on Audible have Freakonomics by Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner. I've had this on my list to read for a very long time now. I enjoy economics, like enjoy in a certain way, and so I'm kind of interested to read this book. I think it's right up my alley. And then for an actual physical book, I have a Lafayette in the Somewhat United States by Sarah Vowell. I've never read any of her books. I hear they're kind of fun and funny as well, and that's kind of what I like in my nonfiction, and I do enjoy history. I've had it sitting on my shelf for a very long time. It was a book of the month pick a long time ago. Looks fun, and it's kind of on the short side, so that is always helpful. And I just saw this picture, which made me laugh right this second. So if I get the 2 done, the 2 audiobooks, I'll be perfectly content. If I get this 3rd one done, I will be jumping around with joy. So that's what I'm going to be doing for NonFiction November. I am going to talk about like my general November reads. I will be completely upfront, as I always am. November is usually a month where I play Pokemon and don't read as much. I am currently kind of enjoying a computer game right now, so I don't beat myself up for that sort of thing. I'm totally allowed to do this, and historically my reading in the fall is a little lighter and less abundant as opposed to winter and spring. So you know, it is what it is. I don't care. I definitely read more than the general human being, and so I refuse to beat myself up about it. But if you notice that this is a bit of a lighter TBR than usual, that is why. I do have a week vacation in November, but I have a lot of house chores I want to do and different things like that. So although I do tend to put in some reading time and time for TV and things like that, it's not going to be like a super excessive week of reading. With that being said, I have 2 trilogies that I would like to read in November. in addition to my nonfiction reads, and these are all about getting books off of my shelves again. So I would like to read this series, the Shade Me series by Jennifer Brown. These are young adult like mystery thrillers where the main protagonist has, it's called synesthesia, where she sees emotions as colors and things like that, and she solves mysteries. They sound pretty gritty, which is just a little bit different than what I've been reading lately, and so that seems like fun. There really are only the 3 of them, so it is a trilogy I can knock off of my list. And I also am kind of keen to read the Trader's Kiss trilogy. The first book got a little bit of hype on the young adult booktube, but after that I didn't hear anything about these books. This is a complete trilogy. I think they're beautiful, so I might end up keeping these for a little bit just because I think they look pretty on the shelf. But these are young adults. I think they're kind of a light fantasy sort of deal, probably pretty typical to other young adult fantasies, and that's probably why they didn't get a lot of hype. But they are short-ish, and obviously I bought them because I wanted to read them, so I was interested in it at some point, and I think I could go with this. If I finish all of those books, I probably will read some sort of romance or something that I have on my shelf that I feel like I should be reading, just to get things moving and keep things moving with that goal of making my books fit on my shelf. But again, I refuse to beat myself up for anything, so that's all I'm going to put on my TBR, which is actually 9 books, so I don't feel like that's an actually small TBR, but we're gonna go with it. And so I will talk to you all later, and I hope you're having a wonderful day and that you have a wonderful November. I really look forward to seeing everyone's nonfiction reads and other reads, and if you have anything you'd like to say to me, please feel free to tell me anything. If you've read these books, like these books, whatever you want to talk about. And I will talk to you later. Bye.